Why not?
Because you're not entitled as a board member to seize private student information or personnel information that may be contained in here. You're talking the principal and the vice principal that are regularly corresponding with parents about Johnny. You're talking about a superintendent that's regularly corresponding with staff about their husband or wives or their medical conditions or why they make late family medical leave. You don't have the right to see that as a board member, period.
But they have a responsibility to remove that information prior to releasing it for my inspection.
That's not what the record says.
That's not what the decision.
That
The
wasn't.
decision says I get to see it, and they have to trust me to say, I'm smart enough to recognize that you're not going to release it. We understand that. And that's any citizen, that's any citizen that filed the right to know, that would have gotten rejected, that then would have filed an appeal. I was just a citizen when I filed this information. Any citizen could have had this information. And any citizen that files the right to know would be given this information
What's your
on
outcome?
the right to know.
What's your outcome?
Why are you fighting so hard to open this district up to that amount of risk? What possibly could be a reason for wanting this district to take on that risk?
Transparency only harms those trying to
So be
prevent it.
patient and you will get your transparency.
I'm as patient as you'd like, Mr. Vincent.
We call the question.
Thank you.
Again, there's a motion by Mr. Wentz, a second by Mr. Holland, that the solicitor should take an appeal to the decision of the Office of Open Records directing the release over 7,700 emails of the superintendent and high school building administration due to lack of specificity and that compliance would require violations of other laws, including FERPA.
It would be good to have a roll call.
Before you even take that roll call, since I know you called the question, but I would like Mr. Schwab, were you involved in writing this motion at all? Or just Mr. Cleaver?
No, I asked for a recommendation because I wanted to know what we're at, we're liable, and to make a motion to put on this.
But who wrote the motion? You or Mr.?
I could correspond with Attorney Schwab.
Okay, I just want to make sure he reviewed it before you wrote it.
Yes.
Just a surprise, thank you.
Yeah, reviewed after. Go over and review before. Roll call vote, Mrs. Wagner?
Okay. Mr. Rivers?
No.
Mr. Richard Belts?
Yes.
Mr. David Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Stephen Holland?
Yes.
Mrs. Gail Mahalik?
Yes.
Mrs. Rita Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Wayne Wentz? Mr. Andrew Yancer?
Yes.
Mr. Larry Stern?
Yes.
That's 8 yes, 1 no, motion carries.
Need a motion and a second to authorize employee payroll deductions for voluntary life and disability insurance.
So moved.
Mr. Molly? Second. Mr. Wentz? Comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? You guys have it. Need a motion and a second to approve and accept the consolidated grant for the 2018-2019 school year, Title I, Part A of $577,050, Title I, Part D of $42,917, Title II, Part A, $91,989, and Title IV, Part A, $36,521 for a total grant award of $748,477.
So moved.
Mr. Yancer.
Second.
Mr. Bradley. Question?
Yes, Mr. Tack,
Yes.
is this about a 10% increase? What?
About 7%.
About 7%?
7%.
So thank you for putting together the paperwork for the grant, Mr. Pack. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Need a motion and a second to approve the agreement with CLIU number 21 for the TransPerfect remote interpreters products and services for language interpreting related services for the 2018-2019 school year. The cost is a monthly minimum of $50 if the service is used.
So moved.
Close your agreement. Mr. Yancer?
Second.
Ms. Spinelli? Questions? All those in favor? Oh,
Excuse me, yes.
Yes, Steve.
Is there a max on this?
No, this is, we request this in the event that there's a meeting with a parent who maybe that they need sign language. We also do for graduation, we have someone who signs for them, so we use the service through the IU for all of that. But it's basically only required if it's requested at the parents or guardians request.
Any further questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Need a motion and a second to approve employee number 1633 and employee number 1658 to attend the National Association of School Resource Officers, NASRO Basic SRO/SPO course in Schnecksville, PA on October 1st through the 5th, 2018, at a cost not to exceed $1,300. Funding through the Safe School Targeted Grant for School Officers, School Entity. Motion and a second, please.
Second.
Mr. Bradley, questions?
Yeah, why did we identify the two employees by their number if we know that we only have two officers?
Right.
Why would we do that?
I think it's policy, just so people don't know they're gonna be away. but-
I know, but I thought we got rid of that. I thought we decided not to do,
Not to name, not to name, we do ID number.
well, think that through.
Okay, of course, I mean,
Yeah, I know what you're saying, when there's two, but it's just keeping it consistent, I think.
Doesn't sound very logical to me, guys.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Need a motion and a second to approve the contract with the Lehigh Carbon Community College for the district to supply meals to the 21st Century Grant Carbon County Shine After School Program administered by the Lehigh Carbon Community College held in the Lehighton Area Elementary Center. The district will be reimbursed $3.49 per meal served, enclosure green. Need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second. Answer. Mr. Belts. Questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Need a motion and a second to approve the 3086 contract with Behavioral Health Associates, BHA, for the district to supply meals to BHA. The district will reimburse per the 3086 contract. Mr. Wentz? Mr. Holland? Questions? All those in favor say
So it's identified that we're billing them for the meals at a rate that is greater than what it costs us for the meals. BHA is a privately held, profitable organization, is that correct?
Correct.
So every dollar we bill to them gets marked up by a private entity. Why would we charge them more than what we get charged?
The state, it's called sponsor-to-sponsor contract. The state requires us to charge at least what we charge our full-paid students, so that's why it comes out more, even though we get reimbursed more from the state, because most of those are free and reduced. The first year on the 3086 contract. Now, next year, there'll be a new contract, will be based off on what it actually cost the previous year. But your first year, you have to go minimum of what you charge your students on full price. You know, so there might be money left over next year, we're charging less, but each year you have to approve a 38.
Thank you for putting that on the record.
The state law.
It's on the record.
Any further questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Need a motion and a second to authorize the business office to hold a public hearing to set local economic revitalization tax assistance boundaries.
So moved.
Mr. Answer?
Second.
Mr. Spinelli? Questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Need a motion and a second to approve the memorandum of understanding with the Carbon Lehigh Intermediate Unit Number 21 for the Title III Consortium for the 2018-2019 school year enclosure green.
so move.
Mr. Wentz? Spinelli? Comments, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. On personnel, I need a motion and a second to approve the attached list of candidates for the 2018-2019 substitute list pending clearances.
I'll move.
Spinelli?
Second.
Mr. Yancer? Questions?
What's the process that a substitute teacher moves to a full hire?
They have to go through the interview process. They have to apply for it. They have to, number one, apply for the position as opposed to they have to meet the requirements. Because if it's a secondary position, it may be a substitute who's certified in elementary, so they wouldn't be qualified to be, for that position. So the number one thing, they have to meet the requirements.
So we only interview people that meet the requirements?
Absolutely, you have to. You can't put a non-certified person in that position.
So we don't interview people unless they meet the requirements for this position?
Yes.
What is the criteria to get an interview?
They would apply for the position and then go through the screening process, paper screening process.
So after they apply, who screens them prior to deciding who gets the interview?
Depending on the position, of course, they would all be screened through me, but also the principals of the building as well, depending on the position.
And that screening process is predicated on?
Number one, that they meet the requirements.
Right, and then after that, you go by?
We go by their credentials, maybe experience, depending on the position.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Need a motion and a second to approve the athletic hires as recommended by the athletic committee and the extracurricular hires for the 2018-2019 school year.
So moved.
Mr. Holland,
Second.
Mr. Spinelli.
Same process, Mr. Cleveland?
For athletic hires, there's, for athletic hires, again, the requirements will be set through the athletic office, what the requirements are, depending on the position. Number one, they would have to have hopefully some type of experience coaching, but there is a process they would go through for that. We get very few applicants for coaching positions.